Good morning, good morning, good morning. My window's mad tiny. So, I don't know. I'll go over friggin' CoffeeZilla, going over friggin' Epstein files. I don't really want to go reading them until at least after next week, so I'm not stressing out. So let's get this going, yeah.
Today I interviewed Congressman Ro Khanna on the Epstein files. He's one of the origins of the Epstein Transparency Act, along with Thomas Massie, who I also tried to get on the show. They are a Republican-Democrat duo who have been fighting to get the Epstein files publicized, and it's my privilege today to interview them. You're one of the few people who's actually been allowed to see the unredacted Epstein files. What did you find?
Well, first, we found that they were protecting the identity of 6 men. I mean, Massie and I went for 2 hours, and there were 6 men who were listed as co-conspirators, and their names were redacted. I went to the floor of the House of Representatives today, and I called out those 6 men by name.
Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner.
We need courage in this country to hold people accountable who have been accused of some of the most heinous crimes. I mean, men who either underage girls or went to Epstein's Island knowing underage girls were being paraded around.
One of the biggest parts of this story has been the meta story of the cover-up. Every time it seems like they're going to get the files out there, it's like opposite day. They redact names they shouldn't. They miss deadlines. They mischaracterize evidence. You know, just recently I saw an FBI memo that there were no cameras in bedrooms of Epstein's house. And then you look at the photos the FBI took, there's a camera in his bedroom. So I just want to understand this. To me, this looks like a cover-up, but who are they covering for? First of all, do you agree with that? And who do you think they're covering for? And
Israelis? What the fuck? They're covering for the Mossad all day. It's a honey trap pot from them. Zionists, sorry, I should say.
One of the biggest cover-ups in American history. I mean, they're covering up for rich and powerful people who visited this island where young girls were being, not just the American elite, the global elite. This is shaking the British monarchy. It may topple the British government. It has the Norwegian princess now not being able to be a queen. I mean, it's
because the bitch was talking about eating. Jeffrey, the babies, the humans won't be able to have babies. Dude, those are weird emails, man. Those are weird. That lady doesn't deserve any power either. Just like all these people, though.
Reverberation.
Of course, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's one of my biggest problems with the story. Internationally, we're seeing some accountability, however small. I have seen zero accountability in America. And so, look, while I appreciate the transparency, I was talking to friends, people who follow the show, and they said, where is the accountability? Are we going to see a single person in America besides Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein?
Mind you, Ghislaine's not in that. I've already pointed it out before. Hold up. Okay, let me just shrink my box a little bit. Put me over here in the corner real quick. Now, these 3 women are not the same. That's supposed to be the fucking, what's it called, Wikipedia photo, which that's Photoshopped the shit. That's really her. That's some dude dressed up as her. And that's some, like, Australian woman that's, like, doesn't even look like her. There's a jawline. She has, like, no jaw. Like, these are all 3 different people. She was never been in jail. Just like Epstein's never probably been in jail. Okay, just want to put that out there. Back to this.
Justice.
Well, that's why I went to the floor today and named these people. I wanted those names public. I mean, if the Justice Department isn't going to do their job, if the FBI isn't, then members of Congress can take to the floor and start naming names. And that's why I did that. But we need investigations, and we need a political accountability. I mean, how can you have Howard Lutnick, right, who lies to the American people? He says, oh, I never had anything to do with Epstein.
I was never in the room with him, socially, for business, or even philanthropy.
Then it comes out that he actually went to Epstein's Island.
We had lunch on the island. That is true.
And then it comes out that he allegedly had a business with Epstein after Epstein was a convicted pedophile. It's an indictment on America. That in other nations, literally their heads of states are falling if they just had email correspondence with Epstein. And here we've got someone like Lutnick still in government. We need accountability. We need prosecutions of people who actually showed up in the island and folks. And we need, by the way, the cover-up then. What is the biggest cover-up? I just want to explain this simply. The FBI scrubbed these files in March before my law. And the most sensitive information are in the FBI files. That's where the survivors named the names of the people who abused them. They're in those FBI files. Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed that in March, and they sent the scrubbed files to Justice. And so Justice then did.
Hey, not even. I had, watch this. So on my other account, I have like Epstein documents that were like pre-redacted, like before they re-redacted them, like his black book, manifestos, the documents that were like all of this, all this stuff that originally was released. Like they deleted off my albums, like album out of my files, my drivers, which is weird. It's a good thing I always keep backups of everything, but like it's all the flight logs. Jim Carrey's in there and shit. He was suing people before and getting people to take these all down. I was like, go fuck yourself. Okay, well, back to what we were talking about.
Did a second round of redactions, but under my law,
the re-redact.
Transparency Act that Massey and I passed, we need to have those FBI files unscrubbed. We need them unredacted, and that is where the information is. And the only reason I believe they're redacted is they're protecting very rich and powerful people in this country.
Well, look, I mean, part of the thing that I've appreciated about this push, it's a bipartisan push. Both left and right have gotten behind it. Look, saying, hey, we gotta unredact this. We gotta see who's really in there. You bring up a great point. A lot of powerful people have lied about their association with Jeffrey Epstein. That's been one of the great revelations that has come out of it. But it's, I criticized Howard Lutnick, but we also have Stacey Plaskett. She's saying, I wasn't a friend of him.
That are not your friends. Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information. Having a real friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have.
And then we see text messages where she says, I'm going to call you my friend. And he says, yeah, don't worry, like, we're friends. I mean, this is a problem that crosses party lines. And my worry is this. Look, right now there's a lot of push, bipartisan, but especially from Democrats. Look, we got to hold these people, accountable. I agree with them. I agreed with the Republicans when they said they were going to hold them accountable last time. My problem is this. Next time, let's say you guys...
Democrat, Republican, they're both on the same... It doesn't matter who's... I'm so sick of these two-party systems. I went from being political into, like... I'm just so done. They're all in on it. They're all doing it. They're all fucking each other. I'm eating kids.
It's getting power. How can we trust that you guys are going to do what's necessary with the next DOJ? Because it doesn't seem like we're going to get the DOJ to do anything this time. I think we probably both agree on that. How can we trust the next DOJ to take the proper action and hold people accountable?
Well, I think you have to look at the record. You can trust people like Massey and me. We didn't politicize this. We said whoever is implicated needs to pay the consequences. There are Democratic donors like Bill Gates that are in the files. They need to testify. Keir Starmer is someone I knew. I met with him. He's someone who shares. I celebrated when he won. I had no sympathy for Mendelsohn or the Starmer government. I have no sympathy for Democratic donors or big tech folks, some of whom who have supported the party, who are in these files. I have said that President Clinton should testify, and he is. So Massey and I, the reason we've been successful is we haven't made this about Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or politics. We haven't made this Republican or Democrat. We have said wherever the
two-party thing. Now even all people.
If it takes down the Democratic donors, it's going to take down the Democratic donors. If it's going to take down Republicans, it'll take down Republicans. And why do you think other people haven't been willing to do it? Because we made some very powerful enemies. There are a lot of billionaires and people in this Epstein class who are against us. So I don't think you can trust a party per se, but I think you can trust people who have a track record of standing up for doing the right thing.
I want to go to the July 2025 systemic review the FBI claims it did. They made a bunch of surprising findings because, later they were revealed to be, in my view, false. They say, one, this systemic review has no incriminating client list. Well, we see internal slide decks, basically, from the FBI. They
never interviewed, and I keep saying this in every video when it gets brought up and shit like this, they never interviewed any of the victims. Like, I thought that wasn't real. If you go into it, they didn't interview any of them. It's really, like...
Where very prominent names, such as Trump, Jess Staley, Leon Black, Les Wexner, Bill Clinton, a bunch of people have pretty shocking allegations against them. It goes to another part of their memo. They said there's no evidence that's going to predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Why not even investigate? That's kind of my problem.
You have hit the nail on the head. None of these rich and powerful people have even been asked under oath why they were on this island. What did they see? Who were the girls? Who was being... They've just...
Because the FBI's in on it.
Not just
Everybody's in on it.
prosecution, they've even escaped investigation. And the Department of Justice could open the investigation tomorrow into these people. And people say, well, why are we obsessed about something that happened years ago? First of all, the survivors deserve justice, and it's very callous for people to
That was
move
me and
on.
say beat
But
over
the
that.
second thing is, if we live in a society where people think the rich can just get away with things because of who they are, that the powerful can just get away with things because of who they are, then you don't have a democratic government.
The Epstein files, why it's so frustrating is it's exposing a justice system that has two different classes. For the weak, you have laws that bind but don't protect. For the powerful, you have laws that protect and do not bind. I mean, do you agree this is what we're seeing with the Epstein files?
Yes, it's two tiers of justice in America. That's why I came up with the term Epstein class. If you're part of this rich, powerful club, then you feel like you're above the law.
Speaking of accountability, I want to talk about, one of the claims by the Justice Department. I mean, they say there's no credible evidence Epstein is blackmailing individuals. This is a huge problem because the FBI basically failed to get a bunch of CDs, hard drives that later were found removed from Epstein's properties. But, there's this email basically Epstein sent himself about Bill Gates where he alleges that he facilitated trysts with Bill Gates. Bill Gates denies this, but it reads as straight up blackmail. It's like, you need to give me X millions of dollars, otherwise, something's going to come out. Well, here's my problem, and this is what I'd love for people like Gates to be asked. He says he separated himself from Epstein, and then it turns out he sends a $2 million gift to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein.
Hold on 1 second.
If he had nothing to do with it, directed by Jeffrey Epstein. So if he had nothing to do with it, this wasn't blackmail. Why is he sending a $2 million gift? I mean, are we going to ever have it make sense? The gaslighting
no.
is what bothers me.
That is a hard
You
no.
brought up Howard Lutnick. He says, "Oh, I was so disgusted," and then he's found to be a business with the guy. Like, I just don't like, and I don't think anyone likes being lied to, especially by people in power and people who are making decisions sort of for the rest of us. Bill Gates has enormous influence. The idea that he would be kind of, compromised.
Soon
by
the
some of these
babies,
things
the
is
humans
very
won't have
alarming.
babies,
It
as
is alarming,
that
and that's why he
fucking
needs
princess
to come under
said.
oath and answer these questions.
Fucking
That's
Bill Gates
why,
and them teaming up. It's fucking-
there should be an investigation where he's asked by the Justice Department and Congress. And I say this as a Democrat. I mean, he supported a lot of Democrats. But we need fundamental accountability. It can't just be about Lutnick because he's in the Trump administration. It needs to be across the board, regardless of people's politics. And the issue in terms of what Epstein was and what he was doing, look, even my law doesn't allow for the release of classified information. You can't in Congress declassify things. That's the rule. But what we need is a president who actually appoints someone who has credibility in the military or in intelligence to look through the classified information and make a public report of what Epstein did and whether there was anything there. And that person has to have incredible credibility. Until then, there are going to be both rumors out there and conspiracy theories out there and legitimate questions. But that won't be answered just by my law. We need actually a commission that can look through the classified information.
I like that one dude. I had it in one of my videos the other day where he's like, I want capital punishment. Hang him. I want firing squad. It would be pretty cool.
Glad you brought this up. One of the questions is, why did the plea deal in 2008 happen? Why did it seem like every time there was going to be something happening?
Oh my God. I'm just going to leave it right there.
It seemed like some bigger players were reaching in. The CIA was FOIA'd by Jeffrey Epstein about Jeffrey Epstein, and they basically denied it. They said, hey, we can't confirm or deny any classified evidence that we may or may not have on you. The NSA basically did the same thing. This is a big problem was Epstein working for our government or foreign governments? This is something that's kind of speculated about a lot. There's a lot of emails with connections with powerful world leaders where Epstein seems to be in some type of official or unofficial capacity. I mean, what do you know, if anything, about this?
I generally don't have insight into his relationships other than to say it's odd that he's got pictures at the CIA. It's odd that he has relationships with so many world leaders, that he's getting access from Gordon Brown's trade secretary about what purchases UK is going to make in the financial markets, that he has access to what India's prime minister is going to do in the United States or Israel, that he has access to an Israeli former prime minister, so much so that Netanyahu is making statements about the former prime minister's relationship with Epstein. I mean, how is this person as connected? Actually, that's one of the questions I want to ask President Clinton is, like, who is this guy? Or Trump, or in our classified information. I mean, why is this guy as connected as he is? People say, oh, he's just a collector of influential people.
Oh, they always say he's a math teacher. Now it's a physics teacher. And then you find out that he's had multiple different aliases and names, and he's been caught with different passports. That was something I went over. I didn't think I did it in a video, but it's something I went over. Yeah, he had a whole entire setup and his own fake thing going on. He was pretending to be someone else, and like to go and say that alias has been actually active since then, and it's a weird thing because he's been using that one since like the 70s, and I don't know where I was going with this. It's just weird that no one has said anything about anything, and this dude has other aliases, and it's been proven he's alive. Like,
I know a lot of people who network in Congress. I try to network.
That's what I was trying to get at. His whole entire background is espionage. Like, I don't think he was ever a teacher. I don't think he was any of that stuff. I think it's all was the front. Like, they gave him a job at the school, but he didn't really teach anything. If anything, he molested kids. But, like, it has all the hallmarks of an espionage, like communist, like, being put in kind of thing going on. Like, legit, like, spy shit.
I don't know all these world leaders. You don't get there just by networking. There's something else going on.
That's a great question. I have the same question. I mean, it's a very strange thing. I want to talk about Trump's relationship with Epstein for a second. There have been a lot of revelations from the files, a lot of weird behavior from the president, who normally is unbothered by anything press related. And yet we just had something come out very interesting. It seems to be a 2019 interview with the Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder. And he said that basically Trump blew the whistle on Epstein's activities and said, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this, saying Maxwell was evil. This definitely surprised me. I'm not going to lie. I said to myself, why didn't they? If I was there, I'd put that out sooner. I mean, I'm just kind of shocked that was in there. But also, it seems like later he said he didn't know what was happening.
At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women?
No, I don't know really why.
So, what do you make of this? Were you surprised to see that? I was pretty shocked. I was like, what is this? I don't know what to make of it, really.
Yeah, I was surprised. I said on its face, it looks like a good thing that he was saying that Epstein should be held accountable. I wish more people had done that. I guess the questions for President Trump is why did it continue, and does he know other people who were abusing these girls, and what else does he know about Epstein's relationships? But on the face, that one call is it seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was weird. And, well, it also made me wonder, because in 2002, there's that birthday book, right? 2005 or 2006.
All of this seems curated, and it's funny how it just came out one after another. Like you said, in this season, every White House thing, like every year is a new season. And it's just like the drama. It's just provocative to the ears. It seems too manufactured.
It looks like he calls. Like
Biden sat on this the whole time. All this seems too.
Him down. I mean, the whole thing is very confusing. Actually, I don't know if we're ever going to get.
It's like Biden's daughter's diary. Like, why would it's like written in handwriting, but it's all typed out? Did someone either copy over the whole thing? I don't know. That seems like a big nothing burger. All of it's retarded. All of this is distraction stuff to like keep us away from this. At the same time, who was the one controlling Epstein? Because Epstein wasn't the top of the pyramid. He was a part of the whole, like, a block of it. He wasn't the people above him. Like, who are they?
The truth on that, maybe. But, Ghislaine Maxwell is an interesting character because he says, oh, she's evil. Well, he was friends with her for a very long time. Now she seems to be playing a part in the game. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this. Ghislaine Maxwell basically said, through her lawyer, I will clear Trump and Clinton if pardoned. I mean, is this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen?
Well, I was in her deposition.
Technically, there's nothing on the bribery
I
or
want to
extortion.
pardon it, and I'll clear Clinton and Trump. But she also says Give
buddy.
me clemency, and I'll
Yeah,
name
yep,
all the
yep.
other people who were these young girls. I mean, come
Come on,
on.
get
He's
down.
basically saying, okay, you want to know who these
girl.
people are? Get me out of jail. And so it's the most corrupt thing I've seen. And this is why we know there are other powerful people, right? Because we know Maxwell is saying it, the documents are saying it, the survivors are saying it, and the only two people who are in jail, one is dead, Jeffrey Epstein, or
He's not dead.
and the other one is Maxwell.
I mean,
Maxwell's not in jail.
I want to put
I don't think she spent a day in jail.
finer point on that. Actually, Maxwell's life got better after the Transparency Act, which, you know, I'm happy about the transparency, but just on stating on levels of fact, since 2025, the only person who's ever faced real accountability on Jeffrey Epstein, her life has gotten better. The survivors' lives have arguably gotten worse. The DOJ failed to redact a bunch of stuff and expose them to the world.
Failed to redact a bunch of stuff. Like I said, those words don't make sense. Like, they don't fuck up like that. This is, like I said, all of it's pre-coordinated, and it's just a part of the whole way to drip feed it to people. It's like when a monkey thinks he finds a banana, he's really excited. When a monkey finds out that the banana was given to him, he can tell actually he'd been fucking cheated. He was meant to find the banana.
I mean,
and then you find out there's medicine in the banana, and now you're all like drugged out, and now you're a drunk monkey. Like the monkey and the drugs are just cognitive dissonance and reality meeting each other.
This is my problem, and it leads me to the question of, you know, we kind of where we started. It's great that we have transparency. I love the transparency. But where's the accountability, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. But this is the first time any survivors seem heard. This is the first time that we've actually had a government take action and release these files after decades. This is the first time that there's a conversation, at least, about elite accountability. Now, that conversation, as you pointed out, is going very differently in Britain and Norway and other countries. And the question is America going to pass the moral test? Are we just going to shrug and say, no, these people are too rich, we still want their money, we still like hanging out with them, they fund too many of the nonprofits, they fund too many of the universities and fund too many of the hospitals?
Well, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that that's the case, and they're like, oh, won't you let us get away with it? No. No.
And so, you know what, we're going to give them a timeout. They need to go quiet for a year or two, and then they can rehabilitate themselves? Or are we actually going to have accountability in America where they are stripped of their position, where they are investigated, and where, when crimes have happened, they're prosecuted? And that's an open question, because so far we have not seen the accountability.
Well, also the FBI, you know, for as long as I've been sort of watching what they do, they're sort of the world police. I mean, unlike other kind of national agencies, they don't just concern themselves with what's happening in America. They go after people internationally, right? It's very clear that Epstein's organization was an international operation. Even if you're trying to make the claim that he was trafficking to himself, there were other people assisting in that, right? We see in the files, Epstein was paying a guy named Daniel Syed, who's not dead yet, who to basically go scout for women, right? And those women later, they gave their passports, and later they were brought to America. So all this stuff is in the files, this international ring that was going on, whether or not you want to say he was trafficking to himself. I mean, do we even have the gumption to target that? I hate to put it so...
They can't investigate themselves. They have to do something different. In order for something to come out from this, there has to be, I don't want to say another organization, but some kind of other party to fucking investigate all this, because all the people are corrupted all the way to the top. And then if they're not corrupted, they can't be corrupted, because these people have enough money to like actually do that to people.
Crassly, but I feel like people
or
just
the power to do
a
it to people.
scalp. I mean, that feels bad to say. We want justice, but even symbolic justice would be better than this, right? Which is basically, we released everything and we get nothing.
That's why I went and gave the 6 names this morning on the floor of the House. I mean, those many of those names are foreigners, but they were listed as co-conspirators. And the question is, are we going to have justice? You know, one of the survivors told me that the person who her when she was 17 was happened in France, and that this person has left both France and the United States to evade the prosecution of the authorities. And so the question is,
they know what's going on.
They care enough to get justice, because you're right, it's not just justice of famous names who are caught up in all of this. There are a lot of people around the world who are caught up in these girls, and these women want justice. They don't want just the shaming of famous names.
I'm noticing something right now. No one wants to talk about the cannibalism and stuff, especially when it comes to, like, I'm gonna call this mainstream. That's what CoffeeZilla's kind of become.
Want their accusers held accountable. Think about it. For 20, 30 years, they've seen these people accumulate wealth, fly around, escape any accountability, and they were treated as disposable, as that they didn't matter, as if they were just objects for the gratification of rich and powerful men.
Perfectly said. The final question here. What's the worst thing you've seen in these files?
I've seen some pretty sick things. I mean,
there's a lot of fucking sick things. He's probably seen worse than I have.
Just the grotesque nature of what they did to young girls. I mean, it's much worse than just. I mean, it's violent, it's ugly, it's sick, and that is just stomach churning. And then the scale of it. I don't think people understand how many of these young girls were caught up in this. And the class issue is at the core of this. That's why I said Epstein class, because a lot of these girls were working class. A lot of them didn't have fathers. They were targeted.
Yeah, that's like straight Gruner shit. Well, he named his ship Lolita. So, if you guys ever read that book, he's kind of just following it. That book is kind of like a guide for them all.
They were preyed upon by rich and powerful people, and then they were told, don't call the police, nothing is going to happen. Don't call the FBI, nothing's going to happen. And the person who...
One of the dynamic things these people do is trying to convince the mothers to have sex with their daughters in a three-way. It's really weird. It's really fucked up. It's got to be some kind of weird pagan thing, but, like, that's wild. It's a power control thing, though.
Didn't call the FBI in 1996. She was called a liar. This is a moral reckoning for this country. It's an elite governing class that is immature, that is callow, that is reckless, that is arrogant, that is self-entitled, and that has done horrendous things. And the question is, are we just going to try to brush it aside? And
we're not doing that. We're not brushing it aside. It's the media is complicit. Everything's complicit. Everything's, like I said, it goes deep. It goes real deep. Everything in America is going to be shifted out of this and stuff. Like I said, I think this is also geared to make America look really bad. So, like, we look awful on the world stage. So now we look like a bunch of, like, PDFs, fucking, like, who want to start war with everybody over stupid shit because we're just like a little goy slave for Israel.
Move on, as
stupid.
The president says. Or are we actually going to have a moral reckoning, have a new moral vision, and be rooted in the values that built this country? And that is what's at stake.
And that's our interview. Thanks to Congressman Ro Khanna for coming on the show. If you want to...
I like that dude a lot, though. Him and Massey, they really have been going hard in the paint. For politicians, you know what I mean? I wish they'd bring up the cannibalism stuff more, because, like, I feel like if more people knew about the cannibalism, that'd break some boundaries for a lot of people. But they're not talking about it a lot. They keep focusing on, like, just the little girls only, too. They're not focusing on, there's little boys that were molested. What about the trap doors that were, like, leading to the ocean? What about fucking the dentist office taking out their teeth so they can't bite them? Or the girls, all they can do, well, still can't bite them, but also can't fucking, all they can do is dick. Like, all of it's fucked up. And then there's, like, the porta potty parties where they just shit at each other. And then there's the living dolls. All of it's gross. And then there's, like, all the weird code terms. And this is all awful. All of it's awful. It's all disgusting. We need capital punishment for all of it. I don't know. Have a great day, guys. This is a lot better than reading the files and stuff again. That shit gives me anxiety. I'll start doing it again next week after I get done with court. God bless. Have a good day.